Hello, darlings. This is another poetry reading and perhaps some more discussion, this time by the poet Krystyna Dąbrowska. I really hope I got that right. I listened to the recording of her name a few times. Polish is very hard for me. This isn't an excuse, but an apology. This is from her work Tideline, translated by Karen Kovacik, Antonia Lloyd-Jones, and Mira Rosenthal, who, if you've listened to other recordings, you may recognize that prolific and wonderful translator. And this is from the press Zephyr Press, which does a vast selection, very, very diverse amount of translated poetry. The poem that I will be reading to you today is titled Sleepless Poem. Having someone who knows that you fall asleep best on your stomach, and being unable to fall asleep because of him. Wondering how much do you share, and how much keeps you apart. And in what way, like a tongue on the edge of an envelope, it wants to seal. As reticence divides good silence, as time zones divide continents, as a standing wave between what's visible and all that's concealed, lying sleeplessly, wishing it were morning, and slowly shifting from the wall to the other side of the bed, toward the wide open darkness. Now, part of the reason why I share this poem with you, outside of just, I think there's a very tender loveliness to the unique violence of solitude. I'm not sure if that's the right phrase for this, but I don't really write down my thoughts when I try to extrapolate on these poems, so my apologies. But I find that poem is both so familiar, so comforting, and so heartwarming in a way of bearing witness to a soul, really. Dąbrowska's work, I think, throughout this book, kind of lingers between the realm of concise, short breaths of profound insight into the soul, and then lingering further into these more imagistic, almost like series of photographs. The poems here kind of linger, instead of explaining or evoking some core emotion, some feeling, some thought, rather try to paint a landscape of some kind for the reader to fall into and make of them what you will. I think the poem that I've read for you falls into the former category, but it's a fascinating collection to me because I find that I don't know, it's having a diversity of how much a poet offers of themselves within any given collection is a particular marvel to me as someone who is a prolific yapper, someone who literally, if you ask me a question, I'm probably telling you about like the 6 most recent traumatizing events that have happened to me. I think what I'm saying is this book teases restraint. And I think that's a very marvelous thing for me to read. Very necessary. So if any of you listeners out there, like I, are an individual in need of restraint of some kind, please, let's chat. And I would love to talk more about what this book means in that regard. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this discussion.